everybody. Welcome to the Work It podcast, where EQ meets IQ, training workplace success. Visit workit.careers for more information on how you can discover and awaken your true career path. Welcome, everyone. I'm Lori, your host, and today marks our 7th podcast, and we have a special guest who shares many areas of the scoring, and that's inside inventory scoring, that I do. So I am excited to have a like-minded individual sitting right here next to me today. So Jay Rowe, welcome.
Thank you for bringing me, Lori.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm Jay. I'm 18 years old. I graduated from Lori's Work It program almost 2 years ago, and I graduated from a trade high school almost 1 year ago.
So what kind of trade did you take?
I picked up manufacturing.
So, seeing that this podcast number 7 is not titled manufacturing, what happened after high school, Jay?
Well, after high school, I didn't do much after high school. Quite honestly, I was just kind of at home trying some online things. Never really worked out too much for me, but I never wanted to pursue manufacturing. After high school, I was very broke, but I still wouldn't go for manufacturing, even though I was skilled in that area.
So what industry intrigued you? So when you did the Work It class, what came out of, your strengths as well as your interests? Obviously you finished high school, you finished what you started, right? So that you worked with your hands. I think we found that you were experiential learner during the Work It class, which means that you work more based on experience.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah. And you're a visionary like myself, which means that we're, living way beyond 18 years old.
I don't feel 18 at all.
Yeah, you feel older, right? Yeah, that's normal. and you're born to direct a team and positively direct a team, which is awesome. Being on stage with me here today is somewhat natural for us. We enjoy communicating with people. And that was one part of the Work It program. The second part was actually planning your future. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about how that unfolded.
Planning my future. God, this was around 2 years ago. So excuse me, I'm trying to remember.
So you had some steps. We took step number 1 is where you are today. So you were still in high school.
Yes, I was still in high school. I was a junior, actually.
And you were wearing the uniform for the school representing manufacturing. Now, manufacturing is my background, so I absolutely love manufacturing. So to hear someone say that they really don't want to go in that field, it intrigued me to figure out where you were going. So I wanted to dig a little bit more from you, and I uncovered some great things. One of it being entrepreneurship, right?
Yes.
How would you describe entrepreneurship? What's the feeling of being an entrepreneur? How would you define it?
Everything wrong you deal with, you're the problem solver.
Ooh, yeah. So entrepreneur is a broad term because you can be in any industry you want as an entrepreneur. You started to really think during the program, and you thought about what area you'd like to grow in and learn more about. What was that area?
It was real estate.
So the opportunity to possibly buy a single family or a multifamily, what was on your mind?
Back then, I wasn't quite too sure. I just kind of heard about real estate, and I was like, oh, this sounds kind of cool. I don't really know anything about it. All I know is it's buildings and apartments, but this seems kind of cool. So I had no idea back then. Really didn't. Okay.
So as part of the program, we try to align the students with somebody who has a similar passion to the student. And we were able to align you to a mentor shortly after, right? It wasn't that much longer after you took the program.
No, it was pretty quick.
And
like around a week or two or something like that.
So did you end up connecting with the mentor?
Yes, and we still talk to this day.
Great. So did you do a job shadow or just a meeting?
Yes, so we connected 1 to 2 weeks later, and I shadowed him for the day. He picked a pretty good day to shadow. Like, I showed up to his office. We talked a little bit, introduced ourselves, and then he just kind of brought me around doing all sorts of errands that he did. Like, he went to some of his properties that he owns, dealing with some tenants, whether they be good or bad. I can't remember quite exactly what we did that day, but I do remember that day I kept thinking about it. I was like, that was an interesting day. It was a fast-paced environment, and it was pretty interesting. So I thought about it. I kind of slept on it for a little bit.
So was it like a half a day that you spent dealing with the day-to-day opportunities of a real estate mogul?
Yeah, like right when I got out of school, I went to his office and we hung out.
And did you participate in tenant issues, recruiting the right tenant, maybe?
I didn't do it that day. I
Okay.
did eventually, but that's
Okay.
later in the story.
Gotcha. So again, remember, I live in the future, so I'm fast forwarding you. I'm sorry. So Jay, you took that day of job interning, like almost a job shadow, right? And you slept on it. And going to your 7 steps that you created during the Work It program, there was a lot of focus on entrepreneurship, if I remember, and real estate. And here you are 2 years later. Has anything really changed from your 7 steps, from your plan, or are you moving right along?
I'm moving right along, yeah. Not too much has changed that I remember.
Okay, so you haven't changed industries or
No,
anything like that?
no.
So tell us what happened after that job shadow day. Did it fall silent for a little while?
I think it fell silent for a little bit, but I know that wasn't the only day we hung out within that 2-year gap. I know that. I think we hung out a little more every here and then, doing the same job shadowing. And I also know we did like small business together. I would sell some of his items in his office on eBay, and after all the fees and shipping that I would pay, we would split the profits.
So 2 entrepreneurs putting their heads together and making some money.
Cleaning his office and making some money. Yeah.
That's the way to do it. That's awesome. So he kept in touch.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Having mentor in your life, what would you give as advice to other students, other 18-year-olds that are looking to get into an industry that they're not familiar with? What kind of advice would you give to them based on what you've learned about mentorship?
It's awesome, man. Find what you want to do, or even if you don't truly know what you want to do, but you have an idea for a job that you want to do, go shadow, see what it's like. You can't figure out what it's really like on the internet. You really can't, believe it or not. Find a mentor. It's worth it. Some of these people, no, not some. Most of these people are willing to help you out.
Well, especially if you share the same passion that they do, they can pretty much give you the world pretty much, because
Definitely.
They see you have the same passion in your eyes as they do.
There's people looking for you guys. These people want to be your mentors, but they will only do it when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
So prove it to them. Go find one.
That's a good point you're bringing up. Prove it to them, because a lot of people have wasted their time spending time teaching to students who have no interest or have lost interest.
Yeah.
So,
and that kind of drags the teacher down too.
Mm-hmm.
Like they start losing interest a little bit. They start thinking, why am I doing this? It's not worth my time.
Good point. Good point.
So that's why it is how it is. Prove it to them.
So let's fast forward you to today. Here you are sitting here recording episode number 7 with me. And I'm proud to have you as a Work It graduate student of almost 2 years now.
Thank you.
And I've been following you on the sidelines and cheering for you all the way. The amount of effort that I put in was just to connect you with somebody who had equal amount of passion as you do to the subject. You took that and ran with it. And I commend you for doing that and not needing a nudge from me to continue on your journey. You're a self-starter. And I think, although you have not purchased your first piece of real estate yet. Tell us a little bit about where you are today.
Well, so I graduated high school in June 2018. And I told you guys about that after high school, just trying some online things didn't truly work out. Around December, I messaged David and
So David Haberfeld is your mentor.
David Haberfeld is my mentor. Thank you, David.
And he's an amazing real estate professional. And I'm very happy to...
You're underselling that.
Yeah. Well, you can help oversell him because he's awesome.
So around December, I messaged him. I asked him, I want to work more in the real estate industry with him. And was there anything I can help him do? Long story short, I got an internship with him, and I'm still doing it to this day.
So he's named you Jay the intern, from what I
Yes.
understand. And I think that's amazing.
In the beginning, he would go around to everyone. He's like, hey, I got a new intern, everyone. If you got any intern jokes, tell him now. He's just a wacky guy.
He's got a great sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, taking an 18-year-old under his wing and helping you grow in the industry is huge. So what kinds of things have you been doing since December as Jay the intern?
So in the beginning of the internship, Jay the intern worked around the office helping all the girls and whatnot in the office. My role was when prospects called, which is when people are interested in a product or service. Ours happened to be apartments and houses. So when a prospect called about renting an apartment, I say renting an apartment because that was the most common one. They'll call and say, hey, I am blah, blah, I'm looking at whatever apartment, and I'm curious when your next showing is. Okay. So we have to screen them. We have to make sure that they're actually good prospects that won't waste our time and money, right?
Yeah,
So,
we don't want to waste any time and money, that's for sure.
oh, no.
And as entrepreneurs, we often waste time and money to learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
Is that true?
That is very true.
So, in your short time in the real estate world, have you learned what to do and what not to do?
I've learned both, yes.
So what kinds of things did you venture from doing from the office? So you screen some applicants,
Yes.
understanding that process a little bit more.
Yes.
And how about any apartment showings? Did you participate in any of those?
I didn't do the showings. I was just shadowing.
Okay. So you got to feel how that works.
Yeah. They're pretty simple. You just kind of, hey, here's the apartment.
And let them roam.
Have a blast.
Yeah. As long as their credits look good and...
Oh, well, that's after the screening.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's pets or no pets.
Which it would surprise you. It's like finding a good tenant when screening them is like trying to find the ace in a deck of cards. There's one good one out of every 14. It's kind of surprising.
Good point. So now today, you arrived to this podcast, and it looked like you had a long day, a fairly long day. What were you doing today in the real estate world?
So right now, I'm working on the work crew, David's work crew. Right today, it was just a simple job, just cleaning a house, because we are about to sell, we already sold 2 apartments, but before the title officially transfers over to these new landlords' names, the deal was we have to finish all of the rehab work. Yeah, that was actually the only thing. It has to pass inspections.
So you're learning a little bit more about inspections.
Yes, I have. With these properties, inspections has been kind of hard on us. They keep failing us over a bunch of stuff. Like
little things, right?
Some big.
Some big, some little.
Right now, it's all little, though. So we're thankful for that.
So you're learning a lot about, laws and, obviously inspectors and different town laws.
Definitely.
Because you're throughout the whole state of
laws.
Connecticut, right? You cover the whole state of Connecticut. It's not just one area. So, I commend you for still maintaining your interest and wanting to build up enough cash for yourself to someday purchase what? What would your first purchase look like?
Well, my first purchase would be rental. I want to live in that rental too.
And a 2 or 3 family?
I would like a 4-unit, but in this location, it's very hard to find a 4-unit. So I want to look for a 3-unit because that's like the most common if I can't find a 4-unit.
Okay. Well, we just put it out there, so you'll probably find a 4-unit for a good deal.
Hopefully.
And if you've got David by your side, he's definitely going to help you for sure because he's done this for many, many years. So, from what I understand, you were connected with David Haberfeld as a mentor, and he's fantastic. But now you're on job sites.
Yes.
Are you connecting with more people?
Yes, I am. I'm connecting with all of them, general contractors and general laborers.
And they're mentoring you as well?
Yes, these general contractors that I'm working with, extremely intelligent people. Thank you guys. They're mentoring me about everything regarding what to look for in a house, how expensive something would be. And it's hard to describe it. You just kind of have to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we're experiential learners, so you have to feel it, right? Didn't I just say that? It's where
that's
EQ
true.
meets IQ. And what you have today in podcast number 7 is an extreme amount of EQ, where we go by our gut all the time. And if it doesn't feel right, we're backing away from it. So, I want to thank you for being my guest, Jay. And I want to maybe have you give a piece of advice for all those young 18-year-olds that might be listening in, or the parents of 18-year-olds.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So, you're someone who is an overachiever.
Yes.
As a visionary. Not all children are.
No.
But what advice would you give to those students who are born visionaries, that are extreme dreamers and have, vision of business as part of their life? What kind of advice would you give?
Okay. For the whole podcast, this is the most important part. So pay attention. I'll give you one of the most important small little lessons David taught me. You ready? Look for opportunity wherever you go, period. Wherever you go, look for opportunity. That's my advice to you.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
Simple but powerful.
Simple.
It stuck
and
with me.
Absolutely wonderful. So, if not for anything, this podcast really stresses the importance of mentorship, and not only looking for opportunity everywhere you go, but also looking for people of like-mindedness, right? And it looks like you're bumping into them left and right.
It's amazing. Comparing the average kid my age versus these people, it's amazing how these people act. I'm trying to say the right thing.
Is it a maturity thing?
Yes. They're more mature, yes, but it's also the way that these certain people act.
So are you more relatable to them?
Yes.
Yeah, so they're older. So your mindset is older. You're beyond 18 years old. So
these people, I'm talking about David's whole mastermind, which is a bunch of successful real estate investors. I just feel better every time I go see them. It's pretty great. All of us have the same mindset.
Beautiful. You're just at the entry level.
Yeah.
And they're bringing you up, because obviously once they're retired or not able to do this any longer, to have somebody continuing the journey is a wonderful thing. So,
well, I can tell you, they can retire if they want.
Well, people who have extreme passion for what they do,
they don't want
to retire. And that's part of the Work It program, is let's put you in a job where you never want to retire. The word doesn't even come and cross your mind. So again, Jay, I thank you for being my guest, and I will definitely be bringing you back on. It'll probably be a video podcast that maybe we'll do it on site of your 4 family once you find it, and you can give us a tour. But I'm excited for where this is going, and you're an example of someone starting at the ground level of an industry and learning it.
Thank you.
Day by day.
So you want a showing of my 4 unit?
I do. I do. And I think the world will appreciate how much you put into it and how much passion you still have for it. And, landlording is not for everybody. You have to have an extreme amount of patience.
No, it's very hard. There's so many moving parts, whether it be laws, tenants, contractors, etc. It's a very hard business to be in.
But you've got enough natural personality strength to be successful at landlording. And I can confidently tell you that based on your Work It results, you are free to roam the cabin. So just pursue the entrepreneurship that you desire, have as many funnels of income as you wish, make sure it's all legal, and enjoy life.
Thank you.
Again, everyone, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to airing our next podcast next week on Mondays. And thank you very much. You can visit us at workitcareers.com, and all of our past podcasts are stored there, easy to access. So again, Jay, thanks for being my guest.
Thank you, Lori.